the Olympics is one of those things where it's like super important. It's a really, really big thing, and I feel like most people, at least to some degree, are like kind of interested in it, but like it is not my thing, and I really don't pay attention to it. I think maybe like a couple times in my life I've like been at a friend's house when they were on, and I'll like watch a little bit. I'll watch someone racing or doing some kind of thing. It's a little interesting. I don't know. I don't really pay attention though. Apparently they're going on right now. Paris, I think. Yeah, pretty sure it's Paris. Or they happened. Maybe they're over. Don't know. Can't be bothered to look. That's journalism right there. And because I don't really pay attention to the event, I also did not notice that we didn't get a Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games game this time. Apparently they usually come out like kind of weirdly early, like before the actual event, sometimes even like the year before. But in this case, the Olympics, they're here, and we didn't get one. And I believe this was the first Olympic Games that did not get a Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games game since the inception of the series. Well, one Lee Cocker, who was an executive producer on the series, has taken to social media and is claiming that the series is done. It's dead. It's not happening anymore. He says that the International Olympic Committee has decided to officially end their partnership with Nintendo and Sega. None of this has been confirmed officially by Sega, Nintendo, or the IOC, but Mr. Cocker seems to be pretty darn sure that this is what's happening. Simply that, yeah, they ended their partnership because they want to pursue other things. He says basically the IOC wanted to bring it back to themselves internally and look at other partners so they would get more money. They wanted to look at other partners and NFTs and esports. So basically they don't want to work with Nintendo and Sega anymore. They want to focus on things like esports, sure, and NFTs. Remember those? Remember those from a couple years back when all of the companies were trying to get in on it and literally everybody was like, no, that's stupid. Like 99.9% of the audience was just like, we are not interested at all. And all the companies were like, no, it's going to be great. And then the whole thing fell apart and nobody ever did anything good with it because it was stupid. Yeah, that's Mario and Sonic. They're done. It's all about NFTs now. See how that works out for you. And actually, apparently, there is some sort of like official Olympics app. I don't even know if it's a game. Maybe it's something like a game. But instead of a Mario and Sonic game, we got this app, and there's a little description here. You can claim a legendary or epic pin showcasing the Paris 2024 mascot holding a flag and waving. You can add these digital gems to your collection through Magic Eden's friendly NFT marketplace as part of Coinbase's on-chain summer event. Be sure to have an ETH-L2 base-supported wallet to secure yours today. We'll get back to the Mario and Sonic thing in a minute here. First, just like, it's the Olympics. This is a worldwide thing. This is one of those rare things where the entire world comes together collectively. This is something that pertains to all of us, every one of us. Who can even calculate how many people, how many families all over the world are coming together to watch the Olympics? And the official Olympics game, ? That's the description. How many people are even going to understand what any of that means? Be sure to have an ETH-L2 base-supported wallet. Who? What percentage of all of the people enjoying the Olympics are even going to understand or care in the slightest about any of that? And I guess we really shouldn't be surprised that there are companies still falling for this grift, because it all comes from a place of ignorance. Like, companies get into it because they are run by people who don't spend time online. They don't know what NFTs are, but NFT grifters, all they have to do is get a meeting. They just have to sit down with them, and they pitch it in this way that makes it sound like a great idea. So even though all of the fans are like, no, this is awful, the companies are still like, no, yeah, NFT, the way they described it, it makes perfect sense. So I shouldn't be surprised that even years after the whole NFT thing has largely blown over, there are still NFT grifters getting meetings and talking to really official people way at the top of these organizations and tricking them into getting into this worthless stuff. Let's get back to Mario and Sonic, though. I was never a fan of this series. It didn't really appeal to me. I hear that they've been fine, fine, like sports and mini games collections. They seem to be reasonably popular, like nothing crazy, but it's cool. And it's a bit of a bummer, even though it doesn't affect me personally. I would say it's a bit of a bummer if this is true, and I believe it probably is true. I don't know, it all makes sense. I know we haven't heard officially yet, but it sounds like it's probably true. And it's a bummer because the Mario and Sonic games, in my eyes, filled 3 niches. The series gave us kind of 3 unique things. One was just an official game for the Olympics. It is kind of weird that there haven't been any other just official Olympics games. They could just make a game that's not Mario and Sonic. It could just be an Olympics game. And I don't know, maybe there's not that big of a market for it. Maybe that's why they haven't. Making video games is hard. I think they did make an official one kind of a long time ago. I don't even know. So maybe that's why they don't have anything official. But at the same time, they're trying this weird little app thing. Just make like a real app. Make like a real little series of mini games or whatever. Like there's got to be some demand for some kind of interactive video gamey Olympic kind of thing. There's got to be, right? I don't know. So that is something that, like, these games just acted as official Olympics games where you could, play the games that are on your TV, but you're playing them yourself. The series also acted as basically Sonic sports. Sonic has had racing. Sonic has plenty of other spin-offs and whatnot, but like Mario, he's got sports. He's got them locked down. He's got his whole entire own sports series. Sonic doesn't have that. So I would say in that way, the series was pretty good for that too. Because like Sonic Sports just makes sense. Literally just a couple days ago, I was at GameWorks, this big arcade in downtown Seattle, and they had a air hockey table, and it was like a Sonic themed one. And like the branding was Sonic Sports. And it's really funny this all came up just days later, because I'm just like, Sonic sports games. Why doesn't Sonic have more sports games? And I'm like, oh, I guess it's the Olympic games. That's kind of the Sonic sports game. So I don't know if that's something that Sega might pursue, because if this whole thing has fallen apart, it just seems like a good idea to me. I don't know. It just seems like the kind of thing that Sega would be into. Just like Sonic sports game. Mario does it. Why not Sonic? But then, of course, perhaps the most important thing that we are losing, if this series is indeed dead, is a true equal parts collaboration between Mario and Sonic. And it's, when this series was first announced, it was weird. It was crazy. Like, we were still, like, back then, it wasn't like the console wars of the 90s. That was when it was hardcore. It was Mario versus Sonic. You would never get them sharing a platform. They were bitter rivals. And by the time the Olympic games came around, like, that had been eased up a little bit. You're starting to see Sega games on Nintendo platforms, but it was still very novel. It was still kind of a new thing. Just like, it is Mario and it is Sonic and it's all of their friends, and they are together, again, equal parts in some sort of collaborative effort. And that's really cool. And even all these years later, these games are unique as being the only real majorly Mario and Sonic related thing. I'm actually kind of bummed that I haven't been more into the games, because I want to play a game that's got like Mario characters and Sonic characters. So it is a bit of a bummer to lose that, and I'm hoping that Nintendo and Sega maybe realize, hey, this is still pretty cool. Even if it's not Olympics related, like, shouldn't we just do our own thing? They could just have their own series of Mario and Sonic sports games. Just forget the Olympics part. There's a market for that. Lots of people like Mario, lots of people like Sonic, lots of us still grew up with those characters, so like, yeah, bring them together. Don't let this die. Don't let the Mario and Sonic branding die just because the Olympics doesn't want to play anymore. The IOC is taking their ball and going home, but like, yeah, don't let that be the end of the game. Do something else with it, even if it's just more sports. Personally, I'd like it if it was more than that. I'm still not going to be into just a regular Mario and Sonic sports collection. I mean, make some kind of cool adventure or something. I mean, you imagine that? Some kind of big, just like cool adventure game or something. That'd be cool. Whatever. Talk about that later. So that's all there is to say on this. Again, we haven't heard anything official from any official organizations related to this. But yeah, the fact that we didn't get a Mario and Sonic game this time, it means it's probably true. The series is probably over. And that's okay. I don't know. It had a good run, I guess. I mean, anyone who's like a really serious fan of the series, it's probably a bit of a bummer. But like, that is still a lot of games to enjoy, even though I'm hearing that the biggest loss to come from this is apparently they were doing breakdancing. Like, they introduced breakdancing into the Olympics this year, and that means we almost got breakdancing Mario and Sonic characters. So no, that's a bummer. I'm not gonna lie. That's a real bummer. It wouldn't. I mean, it's not the first time that Mario would have danced. We got to remember Dance Dance Revolution, was it Mario Mix or whatever? So it wouldn't have been a brand new thing, but still would have been pretty cool. Might have been the first time we saw Eggman breakdancing, but do not hold me to that. There's a lot of Sonic media out there, and it would not surprise me one single bit if he had indeed breakdanced before, maybe on multiple occasions. So I don't know. Breakdancing Shadow, though? That's got to be new, right? We might have gotten breakdancing Shadow. Nah, it's all right. That'll definitely be in Sonic and Shadow Generations.